This video covers the topic on arrays. First, let us see what is the definition of array. An array is defined as an finite ordered collection of homogeneous data which are stored in a contiguous memory allocation. What is finite? The number of items in an array is limited and it's a finite number, and they are ordered. Ordered in the sense, while accessing the data, it could be accessed based on the order, and the data is of homogeneous type. Homogeneous here means the data all belongs to similar data type. That is the homogeneous data, and arrays will have a contiguous memory allocation. So an array can have a finite elements which are ordered and belong to same data type which are stored in a contiguous memory location. So this is an array. So it's used to store a collection of data and which is of same type. So it is represented as a list of numbers or names, and you can have for representation you can use a tabular data in 2, 3 or more dimension. So in this figure you could see it is something an example how your items or data in an array is arranged. So if this is the first data item or the first element, we call it as numbers within the bracket 0. This is nothing but the indexing which is used to identify the element or a data item in the array. So numbers of 0 represents it's the first element, 1 is the second element, so on till n. If the size of the array is n, this says it's n is the last element. So this is a simple structure or representation of array. So these are some of the characteristics of an array. All elements in the array have a common name. So in the previous example I quoted, the name of the array is numbers. So all the elements have the common name, and elements are distinguished by the index number. So if you take a normal variable, you don't have the square bracket, just the numbers. It could be of any data type. Whereas an arrays will always have a square bracket, which is nothing but indexing, which is used to access the element in the array. Specific array elements can be modified, which means you could it is possible to access one or more elements in the array independently and operate on them. So that is like specific elements. And the value of array element can be assigned to a variable. It is possible to assign this number of ones to a single variable which is of similar type to that of the number array, or number of 0, like that you could assign any one of the element to a variable. You can make it as a unique variable. That is also possible. Array elements are stored in the continuous memory locations, which means they are ordered and they belong to a same memory location. So this is a simple syntax for declaring the array. You have the data type, name of the array. So this array name follow all the rules similar to the variable name, which is already discussed in our previous videos. You could refer the playlist here. And within the bracket, square bracket, you have size, or we also call it as subscript, which is actually telling the number of elements in the array. So for instance, you could see here integer numbers of 5. It means numbers is an array having 5 elements and all the elements are of type integer. Similar way, you have character name of 20, means you have a character array whose variable name is name. It is having 20 elements, or it may have up to 20 elements. That is your array declaration. And you have two types of arrays based on the declaration, how they are declared. So we have a static array and a dynamic array. What a static array is, range or size of an array is included in the array definition, and the static arrays cannot be changed. What does it mean? So say for this example, it's an example of static array. Why? Because I have the size or range of an array which is already included in the array definition. And if I limit this number to 5, during the program execution or during the runtime of the program, it's not possible to increase the number of elements in the array above 5. It is okay that I can have array elements less than 5, but never possible to have more than 5. So that is your static array. The size is fixed. Whereas in dynamic array, you need not include this size or subscript, which means it is possible to declare an array without this size, like int numbers, a blank square bracket. It is possible. We call that array, such type of array, as dynamic array. The reason for not specifying the size is this array may change. The number of elements in this array may change during the program execution. So I am not defining it in a prior hand. That's a dynamic array. There are other types of array classification based on the structure, like one-dimensional, two-dimensional, and multi-dimensional array. What is a one-dimensional array? It is a data stored under a single variable using one subscript, like int a of 4. All the examples we have encountered till now are under one-dimensional array. So it is the declaration. You have initialization. Initialization, you could see here the syntax, data type, array name, you have a size, and equals. Within flower braces, comma separated elements or list of values will give you the one-dimensional array initialization. For example, you have it here, int a of 4, and you have all the 4 elements separated by comma within the square bracket. So this is a of 0, a of 1, a of 2, a of 3. So that's your a of 4. What is two-dimensional array? Array of arrays. 2D array refer to array of array, or is nothing but equivalent to a matrix which is having rows and columns. So in C, actually two-dimensional array is equivalent to a matrix. So how do we declare it? So you have a similar declaration, you have a data type array name. The difference comes here. Instead of one subscript, you have two subscripts here, each for row and column. So you have an example here with including an initialization. You see here int array 4, 3. What does it mean? I have 4 rows and 3 columns. How do I initialize it? So within the flower braces, you have 4 subgroups, like each having 3 elements. What does it mean? This is your first row. This is your second row. This is your third row. This is your fourth row. And each row has 3 elements. That's the reason why, because it has 3 columns. So this is how you initialize a two-dimensional array.